We here at the Soccer OG, as I'm sure all of you are, sending all the good energy, vibes, thoughts, prayers to Gio Reyna, hoping that this latest injury is nothing too severe. We were all excited getting up on Sunday, turning on Dortmund Mönchengladbach, seeing Gio play, get a great opportunity, 5-6 minutes in, almost scored, and then this, in tears. Everyone just heart sank. Because it was so 6 months out. This was supposed to be the season for Gio Reyna. This was supposed to vault him into that superstardom spot at Borussia Dortmund. You have Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. It was supposed to be Reyna and Erling Haaland and Marco Reus taking control of this team, taking it to new heights. Well, that has been taken away from Gio Reyna. And we can't speculate, and hopefully we get some good news on Monday morning. I'm taping this on a Sunday night regarding the injury. But whether it's severe or minor, these are the facts about where Gio is right now. He was out for 5 months, and he missed 3 World Cup cycles. He missed a ton of games overall. In an injury that we didn't think was going to keep him out that long. It was getting very frustrating, obviously no more than for Gio Reyna. He came back, missed the game because he was ill. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with being injured, but it was another bump on the ride back. And then this happens. And sometimes when I'm racking my brain to think of these players that came back from a long injury layoff and got injured right away. In any sport, it's very, very rare. It may be a sign of your body telling you something. So for Gio, with this lost season, I think we can call it that, you don't want it to extend any further. Obviously, it's a World Cup year, and I got a lot of pushback for a tweet that said he's got to get the World Cup out of his thoughts right now. Not saying he's not going to participate in the World Cup. I know it's 9 months away, but you don't have any timetable on a player when you are in this situation where you get re-injured after that long spell. You've got to retrain some things. You've got to work on your body. Borussia Dortmund's on the hook on this as well. What's going on to make sure that he can salvage what is next and not have a recurring problem? This season's over, but he's 19 and he can do it again soon. And it's nothing structural, the hamstring or whatever happened there, God willing. But he's got to get well and not think about the World Cup or any pressure. I think that is fair. Hopefully it's minor. But I've never seen anything like this. It's just bad luck. And it kind of dovetails into what I wanted to talk this week about another issue that's growing up. And here on the Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast coming out Monday. I'm going to be joined by Lionel Bienvenu, the host of the English Premier League on Fox Sports Net, the show that started it all for the English League here in the United States and built so many new fans to where it is now, $1 billion. Have a good chat. Old friend of mine, and that's where I started on my career a long time ago. So it should be fun, enlightening. Check out the Soccer OG podcast where all podcasts are available. And yes, like and subscribe. Thumbs Up City, everyone. Remember, that's where we live. Thumbs Up City. Bring your passport. Thumbs up, like. Did want to talk about our center forward situation. I addressed it in a video a few weeks ago, and it's illuminated. Do you hear those alarm bells? So it's getting a little worrisome. And we talked about all these great players the U.S. have that you don't want to put on the bench, but you might have to because there's not enough room in a lineup. Christian Pulisic, Brendan Aronson, Tim Weah, Gio Reyna, Jordan Morris. These are guys, not all will have a spot on the 11. Now, we have a center forward situation, which was Ricardo Pepi as the number 1. And he hasn't scored a goal. It's going way back. I mean, he's getting less and less minutes at Augsburg. And it's a small sample size. But he's gone down, I think, from 57 minutes in one game, 27 minutes to 10 minutes. And the guys in front of him are their best players right now. And Florian Niederlechner and Mikhail Gregoric, who scored a goal, he's been their best player. So Ricardo Pepi and Eric Winaldes talked about this, that $20 million price tag, that's going to start coming down. Because this is not the this is not the services rendered that they would have hoped. I hope it turns around. But we have these games in March, and do you throw a Ricardo Pepi in there when he's not performing? Do you play your best players? Do you need a classic number 9 center forward? I mean, this is not apples to apples, but take a look at the top scorers in the English Premier League. Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota, Raheem Sterling, Emmanuel Dennis, he's a striker, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sadio Mane, Son Heung-min, Emile Smith-Rowe. None of those guys are number 9s. The people who are scoring goals are not center forwards anywhere. Spain, yeah, you have Benzema and a few others, but there's not Robert Lewandowski's or Lukaku's growing on trees. If you don't have them, don't force the issue. We had the false 9 with Christian Pulisic. It didn't work, but the alternative's not working either. So what are the alternatives? Hopefully Ricardo Pepi gets it going. They're in a relegation fight. I think they're in 16th place, which means they would be in the playoff. There's some bad teams at the bottom. Hertha Berlin got destroyed, so I think they have relegation written on all over them. But it's not a good fit. We talk about Brendan Aronson going to Red Bull Salzburg. It was a perfect fit. Augsburg, we knew he'd get playing time, but it was an odd style of a team. And we're not making excuses here for Ricardo Pepi, and he's again, it's very early days. But it's not just perfect like we saw with Red Bull Salzburg and Brendan Aronson. So he can't be just crowned the guy. Who are the options? Well, we can let me put it out there, because right now Jordan Pefok is the number 1 in my estimation. He's the only guy scoring goals. He's the only guy scoring goals. Yes, it's young boys. He scored again, a penalty, but it's a goal. And the fact that young boys are giving him the responsibility is no minor detail. By the way, that is one of the great fixtures in the world, right? When young boys of Bern take on grasshoppers of Zurich. Bern, wonderful city of clocks. Who doesn't like grasshoppers or young boys? That didn't sound right. But which is great names in world football. We love the Swiss. We love Switzerland, a wonderful place to visit, by the way. Everyone wants to go to Germany or Italy or France, Switzerland, especially if you like some of the alpine sports. Let's get back on the rails here. So Jordan Pefok, to me, is the guy that probably should start if everything remains the same. If Pepe's struggling for goals and minutes in Germany and Jordan Pefok scoring goals, he should be the guy. Who else? Josh Sargent playing a little better, but not playing as a forward. He had that 2-goal game, but then it's much better for him at Norwich. They had a good run here, and was it Liverpool? They were playing well, or it didn't quite. He's playing a little out wide on the right, and maybe it's him, but I feel more comfortable than I did a couple months ago, but it's not a slam dunk. You'd want to see Jordan Sargent play a role, but maybe more as a 9. Then again, you've got to adapt to the strengths of your players here if you're Greg Berhalter. Daryl Dike back in training, still out, hamstring. Steve Bruce, hopefully he'll play in the run-in. It was supposed to be 8 weeks. It might be a little less than that. We're still a few weeks away from that. It won't be him. We said I don't think he's going to really be in the discussion until he gets his legs at West Brom, who really need results now if they hope to return to the Prem. That's a very, very competitive race right now when you look at that. We talked about Jesus Ferreira. I liked, let's start to move away from the true number 9s. It's not going to be Jassi Zardes. Yes, you can wipe your brow with relief. It's not going to be Jassi Zardes. Let's look at some of the other guys. Matthew Hoppe cannot get off the Mallorca bench. That is maybe the most tragic development of all the players in Europe. How quickly he has just disappeared. It was just a bad club. Sometimes you hit it well with the right club, and sometimes you just go to the wrong club. Hoppe and Pepe, I'm not saying it's a wrong club, but it's not a good start. Conrad de la Fuente is not playing. He's got some injury issues. Nico Gioacchini playing a little bit. He was in the mix, but not scoring goals, not playing enough. So we gone through, that's pretty much the striker options. Jordan Morris, who I slipped and mentioned, is an interesting option. And he did get into that 11 and you know Greg Berhalter likes him. maybe he could play that role, even though they like him out wide where he can just buckle down to the byline and get some space and separate those lines. But for him to do that, he's going to have to get in front of Pulisic, Weah, Aronson, you name it. I'd even throw Serginho Dest into the mix here as a guy who can play a more advanced role. Maybe not just as a fullback, because you want to be a little more defensively sound. We've always talked about it. So maybe Serginho Dest is another option to play in the attacking role right there. Now let's talk about the guys that if you don't play with the number 9, which I think is they have to kick the tires on it because the options aren't strong enough. I mean, Jordan Pefok, and I know he's not hasn't been a perfect fit for Berhalter in the way he wants to play, but he could really salvage this right now because he is the best thing we've got going, but still too early to tell. So if they don't play with a true number 9, Jesus Ferreira is going to have a huge year at FC Dallas. Many are saying Pepe should have stayed at FC Dallas. Jesus Ferreira and Nico Esteves, the new coach there, Ferreira addressed the media, said, last year I was a number 10. Nico wants me to play higher up as a 9, so I have to change my mentality. Great news for this discussion. Great news for perhaps getting playing time for the men's national team because he's in the system. He started a game in the last cycle. He's going to get called up. I predict he has a huge year. FC Dallas spent some money. They spent some of that Pepe money. And they have a nice squad. And Jesus Ferreira is going to be a big part of it. And this is the season that is going to make him the next big name. And probably doesn't spend that much more time at FC Dallas. The next incredible FC Dallas product to move on. Jesus Ferreira missed some chances, but he got those chances. USA weren't getting those chances. I'm sorry, I'm screaming. They were not getting those chances in other games. So I will take that. I thought Ferreira played well in that game against El Salvador. He should get another sniff based on the options, right? So Jesus Ferreira is one of those guys. We talked about Jordan Morris. Tim Weah doesn't want to play that role. I don't think there's always talks about that as a possibility. And that's it. I think that's it. That's it. We've mentioned about 10 names. And everyone's dealing with some issues. Now, we want the best 11. That's with a healthy Gio Reyna. And if Gio Reyna, for some reason, is not available in March, knock on wood, hopefully he is, then you probably go back to a combination of Pepe, Ferreira. Zardes did start the last time. He may start again. I just don't. I think he's had his chance, and it follows the pattern of how Greg Berhalter gets these guys, the senior guys, and they kind of go off the back of the squad. Areola, Leggett, not going to play. It's not rolled on. They're not going to flick a switch and all of a sudden become featured players. They'll still get called up. But when the selections are made, we don't sit here and lose sleep over who's getting in there. So what are we left with? It is the biggest issue. And we all have to tune in to see how these guys play. Right now I have Pefok at 1 in my ranking orders. Pefok at 1, Pepe at 2, Ferreira at 3, Sargent at 4, and I'll just leave it at that. And Jordan Morris at 5. That's the 5. This can get much better in the weeks ahead. With these injuries, with guys not playing, maybe Matthew Hoppe starts to get a little bit. Mallorca's been playing relatively well the way they've been playing with the group that they have. We got to see it from Pepe. He's got to get in the starting lineup. That, I get the feeling that has a good opportunity for happening. So there is a ceiling here that we can reach. We're kind of hitting it pretty low. If not for the exploits of Jordan Pefok, we could be panicking a little bit. But at least we have a viable option. I would be stunned. And look, I was not upset when he didn't get called up in the last cycles. I didn't think it was a much needed call up at that time. Would I have liked to have seen him in the last window? Yes. There's no argument here. He has to be in there. He's earned it. And there is a need. I'm sorry. Big guy like that inside who can get on the end of some crosses. We'll talk about that another time as well, obviously, because that's another issue. That is desirable. So Pefok at number 1. Pepe with a bullet can get back in there. And everything is up for debate here, right? You need results, you need to galvanize that attacking end because the midfield is pretty locked in with the 5 guys we have. The defense, fantastic. To me, that's our best. We talk about it, but those 3 guys, and Chris Richards is on the mend, Zimmerman and Miles Robinson, those 3, when you get the right combinations, were great. That's it. That's our defense for the World Cup, those 3 guys. Fullback's good, not at crossing the balls, but it's goalkeepers, I feel comfortable. It's number 9. It's number 9. We got to fix it. Gio, man, we're pulling for you. I can't even imagine what's going through your mind, but know your dad. I know you're not watching this. I know, I'll pretend I'm talking to you. But great people, great family. Gio's a great guy and just made of a much stronger cloth than many other guys. So he's going to be disappointed, but no matter what the outcome, he's going to keep battling back. But let's protect him. Let's make sure that his body is attuned and everything is all right. And then hopefully I'm talking on here and we're talking about him getting into the game at the Azteca. And we're getting closer to that. Stay here with the Soccer OG where we'll give you the information. Check out the Soccer OG podcast for your listening entertainment. Please like and subscribe here. We'll talk to you very soon. Okay.